Welcome everyone to the second MPSA live stream of the year. Today the topic is Ask the Analyst, Digital Production Printing, and we're excited to have participants from IDC, Keypoint Intelligence, and I guess a new addition to Keypoint Intelligence with ProPrint Performance. So we're excited to have three analysts here today to talk about digital production print. So welcome everyone. Wherever you're dialing in from, we appreciate you being here, whether you're with us live or if you're here with us from a recording. Welcome to the event. As you can see, we have three distinguished gentlemen here. We have Tim Greene from IDC. We have Herman. Tell me your last name, Herman, because I'm...
Sacristan.
Sacristan. Usually it's the first name that gets everybody, I know, but... So Herman has been with us before on previous live stream events, and we also have Matthew Edwards with us from ProPrint Performance. So welcome all three of y'all to our call, and I really appreciate you taking the time to share with our members and our non-members that are joining us on the live stream today. So we appreciate you guys joining us.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. And just a couple of housekeeping tips for our viewers today. This is a live stream. It's being recorded immediately. And so if you come late, you'll be able to watch this still pretty much live. And then immediately after our live stream is over, the recording is going to be available. So if you didn't get enough the first time, you can watch it again right away. But obviously, you want to share that with other team members or other partners maybe that you have. So you can use the same link you're watching on our LinkedIn company page. You'll be able to share that same video link with others, and they'll be able to watch this right away. Maybe on 2x speed with a cup of coffee. So just got to hang on as you get all this great information that we're going to be sharing with you today. If you have a question as we're going through, go ahead and ask a question in the chat feature in LinkedIn. And as we continue through the presentation, we have a section at the end where we can kind of have those questions from the audience. We'll bring those up. So again, if you need to share the link to our company page is there, which is linkedin.com/company/MPSA. All right. So this might be your first time joining a Managed Print Services Association event. And so you may not know very much about us, but our organization is a community that focuses on education, research, and best practices to help organizations like you to be able to manage devices and processes for your customers more efficiently. So we're really glad that you're here and that you found us, whether you're an existing member or a new member or a potential new member. We appreciate you being here. And for more information about our organization, go to yourmpsa.org, and there's all the information there about becoming a member, access to our newsletter, to our blogs, and other information that's available. And just these are the kinds of things that you're going to find as far as member benefits, access to our live stream events, participating in committees like our production print committee that we've been having going on for the last year, which is a new committee. And of course, we would love to have you join us if you're interested to get active into the committee and to drive where we're going with production print with the Managed Print Services Association. Excuse me. Also, you'll be able to work with the professionals like the ones that you have on our panel today. So, which is great. You might work with somebody that's outside of your region that you typically work with, and it's just a great way to meet other people that are focused on the same market or the same kind of technologies and services. We also have our leadership awards. We also have our managed print certification that's available. And of course, we have our insiders group. So there's much more, but these are just some things we wanted to touch on that are benefits that if as you join for either yourself personally, or if you're joining as a dealer or a vendor or one of the OEMs. So there's a plan that's available depending on how your company wants to participate. And again, all this information is on the website, but these are the membership costs per year in US dollars. So we have folks in the U.S. All the way to Australia that are joining our program. So we want to make sure that you know that this is available to you. All right. Well, I'm going to get out of the way because I'm commercial. And what we wanted to do is kind of start diving in right now and start talking about who our analysts are. So we want to make sure that you know more than the name and the face, but to get a little bit more substance. So Tim, would you get us started and just introduce yourself and kind of maybe let's talk about what's top of mind for you right now going on with the industry.
Yeah, sure. So thanks, Eric. And first of all, thanks for having me. It's great to be a part of this. So my name's Tim Greene. I've been the research director here at IDC related to production and wide format digital printing for just about 10 years. Before that, I was at a company called Infotrends. I worked there for about 17 years in the production group, and I was the director of the wide format digital research that we did over there. What we just recently published a forecast. Everyone has to do forecasts in this business, right? And one of the things that we have to build in is our core assumptions. And for me, one of the biggest things that we're looking at is the issue of labor, right? This has been a big challenge in the printing business. It's been ongoing for a period of years. But it is a driver of real change because one of the assumptions behind the growth of digital production print is the assumption that page volumes are moving from analog, offset to digital printing. And one of the bigger factors in that happening is that offset equipment operators retire. It's getting harder and harder to find new people to run that equipment. And even if they could, digital production equipment is just much easier to operate. So we see examples of people getting trained to run high-speed digital presses in a period of weeks, not like months and years that it takes to run that offset equipment. And digital presses typically require one or two people to run, where offset presses often require twice that, right? So labor is a big challenge. And one of the ways companies are dealing with that is through automation. And we see this as something of an opportunity for everybody in the channel and the direct sales, what have you, because there are opportunities in, whether it's building a press such that has more inline functionality, or by introducing things like robots that represent kind of a new technology and something folks in the production segment, they might need new partners and new people to learn from. So labor is one of the big issues for me, and something that we've been looking into. We're going to be looking into quite a bit more in the future.
All right, very good. And Herman, you're next.
Yeah,
it's the first time that you've been with us, so go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Eric, for inviting us over again. I guess that we didn't make any damages last time. When you call us back, kind of thing. You pronounce my name really well, Herman, but some people might see that it's spelled German. I'm from Spain originally, and in Spanish, the G is a G. So you got to clear your throat a little bit to pronounce my name. I've been in print for about 30 years or so. And interesting enough, I started in New York working from one of the dealers or agencies, at that time, many years ago, and actually selling office equipment to office environment, and quickly moving to production, selling to commercial printers and selling equipment. And then I moved to actually working with commercial printers to help them print more, all the annuity business of, supply services and that type of thing. So the more they print, the better for everybody, for themselves and everybody else. And then finally, I've been with Keypoint Intelligence for about 6 years. I'm the principal analyst for the commercial print and publishing applications. And again, very happy to be here. Similar to Tim, but differently, the offset to digital is very loud and getting louder, even though we've been hearing about that for so many years, since I started here in 30 years. But it seems like the shift is gaining some momentum for the reasons that Tim already stated, but also we see that digital printing production, digital printing equipment, if we go back 15 years ago when the larger production sheet were the iGens from Xerox, or the Nexpresses from Kodak, or the Indigo 7 series from HP, and now what we see in the market as large production B2s and B3 inkjet with Canon IXs and things like that. When you look at the TCOs, digital printing is now offering probably less than half of the TCOs that we did 15 years ago. So as you can imagine, as the costs are getting lower and lower, and the digital printing presses are getting more and more productive, then the crossover points and the shift from offset to digital happen much faster. And actually, we've seen things in the marketplace of crossover points that we wouldn't have believed like many years ago now. So it's a big opportunity for digital printing. In general, print declines, obviously, talking offset and everything else because of the electronic formats and communications, but especially digital printing and production, is doing well, especially the larger production where it shows a better cost and a better crossover point. So that's the thing that hit my head as a number one. Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you for sharing that. And Matthew?
Good afternoon, everyone. Matthew Edwards. My name shouldn't be too difficult to pronounce, unlike Herman. So I've been in the production space for over 20 years. I've worked with or for all of the major manufacturers, as well as several large dealers, as everything from an analyst to sales overlay, all throughout the South territories of the United States. And then also in New York as the technology manager for Xerox, actually. I have experience in office equipment, production print equipment, solutions, inkjet, 3D, and more. I have been with ProPrint Performance for just a little over 1 year. We were acquired, if you don't know, by Keypoint Intelligence just a little under 2 years ago. And some of y'all on this call have already been familiar with ProPrint Performance's board. But those who aren't, you're about to learn a whole lot about us over the coming months. If you have BLIQ Pro, you will be transitioning to ProPrint Performance. And I'm really excited to be here on this panel. I was honored to even be asked to join in with these fine gentlemen. I'm just going to build on something Herman said about inkjet, that another industry trend that we are seeing, and I find it fascinating, is specifically wide format. And so you're finding more and more implants and CRDs using the large and grand format inkjet roll fed, roll to cut, with specific interest in signage and things like that to bring more opportunities in-house for any given company. So we like at Keypoint Intelligence to keep our eyes on the game and our finger on the pulse. And I'm excited to be a part of the team.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And just to kind of round it up, I'll actually introduce myself because I don't think I did this at the beginning. My face might be a little bit familiar to everyone, but I'm my name's Eric Crump, and I'm the president for the Managed Print Services Association. I also work as the strategic director for alliances for Ringdale, the company that invented Follow Me Printing. So my day job is working for Ringdale, and then I volunteer as the president of the Managed Print Services Association. And it's a pleasure to be able to serve the community and to lead this group. And we're excited to have everybody here today. And with that, we'll go ahead and get started with that. And actually, I've been excited. This is the second production print panel that I've been a part of. And I'm learning more every time that I join and hear from the experts. And I hope that everybody who is joining us are really taking advantage of that. If you've missed some of our previous live streams, everything's recorded on our company page. So if you want to go see something that we've talked about before, everything's there. Especially Herman's there multiple times. So you definitely go back and listen to those if you're looking for more content around production print or managed print services. So with that, we have our first kind of opportunity question. The first one is, why should office dealers diversify into digital production print? And why don't we go ahead and Tim, we'll go ahead and start with you again for that question. Can you talk about that? Maybe things that are driving the shift or benefits to dealers?
Yeah, sure. So I think it's two-sided, right? On the one hand, yes, like dealers, like other stakeholders in the printing market are looking for opportunities to grow their business. I also think in some cases they're being kind of pushed by their vendor partners to go after the large installed base of equipment that is out there, right? So what's driving the shift is either a proactive or a reactive kind of what they're dealing with their vendor partners. And as I said, I don't think there's a lot of growth in the office business, especially lately, as more and more of these the hybrid work model has solidified. So there are companies seeking growth, they're looking for new areas, and so digital production is still growing modestly because of this shift we've talked about from analog to digital. So I think those are your key factors in terms of what's driving that growth.
All right, very good. And Herman, what's your take on that?
Yeah, obviously the same as Tim. The market is growing on production, so you gotta go where the growth is. But me having experience selling office equipment in a dealer ship environment and selling production, I think that what I like the most personally, and I think that is a big opportunity, is you can differentiate more yourself and your brand when you sell in production, because the office sell is more based on specs of the printer, right? And when we're talking about specs, it's very easy to say me too, me too, me too, and then a price, right? And this is what, for the most part, I experience when offices purchase that type of equipment. But in production, customers or businesses, they buy production because they want to make money with that. They print, and that print is being sold to one of the customers, and obviously they're getting money for that. So the approach is more like selling a business opportunity than selling a bunch of specs. And then number one is more fun to sell that way. I believe that is more fun. And number two, you can differentiate yourself as your ideas to grow those print volumes, and that type of thing. But everything has obviously that requires more education on your part. If you are gonna focus not just on the specs of the printer, but on actually the business opportunity of production print, then you need to understand everybody from your customer to their customer, the print buyer, to the consumer that is the recipient of that piece. So it's more of a educational work there. But for me, that's the biggest thing. It's just in this market that is so saturated and so hard to differentiate yourself, you can differentiate yourself more.
Yeah, and I have a question on that. There's different, technology providers that are, already providing for the office, and they can also provide for the production print. Are you guys seeing? Sorry, I'm throwing extra questions in, but are you seeing that there's a good alignment with the office provider and the production provider, or do you see it as almost being having to work with different companies? I don't know if you have to pick up a new vendor to start working with because of maybe gaps in or a preferred strategy.
I mean, if you guys wanna, very quickly for me, as I was talking, is almost two different departments or divisions within the customer. Sometimes even between electrophotography and toner and inkjet, some of the manufacturers, they have two different, even though they integrate it more and more. Roll fed versus cut sheet. So for me, is what I see is just different groups under the same brand. That's what I've seen.
Okay.
We talked a little bit about like the kind of real world example of this, right? So I don't know if they remember your association or anything like that, but there is a New England based dealer up here called Automated Business Solutions. They serve the whole New England area with office managed print services, document management, scanning, shredding, posting, mailing, IT services, and production print. And they've been around for like 30 years. They sell Canon production hardware. So Canon's, within their portfolio, Canon's a very, very strong player in the production business. So they do a good job of spelling out, the benefits of taking some production printing in-house. Now, I don't think they sell Canon's like high-speed inkjet stuff, but they do sell their high-end toner stuff, and they do a good job of explaining, hey, if you're thinking about taking some of this production printing in-house, we have the solutions for you. So it just serves as as an example if somebody wants to look them up. Anyway, they're a good example of like having a partner that they can sell, and I think they sell other lines too, but Canon's one of their big partners. So in Canon's portfolio extends all the way from, as you guys know, right, from very low end, including wide format, plus all the other, all the way up to production.
All right.
Yeah, if I may also add to that, some real world experience I've had firsthand just in the last 2 weeks. I just transitioned into more of a sales support role, supporting the Keypoint Intelligence sales reps who deal specifically with the dealer channel. And in 8 days, I've had 14 calls. Every single one of those is on dealers picking up production print. Either they're planning to or already have. And so I think you are seeing a pretty aggressive trend towards dealers bringing as much under their umbrella as they can in order to not only be competitive, but to provide for the MPS customers that are desperate to get, to be able to stand out more, as Carman said, to be able to obviously make money, but also to be recognized with their brand. And so to put a stamp on that first question, you're seeing a major push in implants for branding consistency. Corporations always want to make sure that it's the same color, no matter what media they're doing. And no matter how good the office equipment gets, it's not going to be the same as a production press. Inkjet color has come a long way as well. And so the CRDs are really wanting to push for high volume brand consistency. And the only way to do that is with production equipment.
All right, very good. All righty. Did you have anything else that you wanted to kind of more focus on around diversification and kind of picking up? I mean, you talked a lot about that, but I don't know if there's anything specific with an example of a dealer that you're working with recently or not.
Specifically, what's the question?
Yeah, it's just why should dealers diversify with digital?
Because, I mean, to be blunt, because other dealers are doing it and because the major manufacturers are doing it. And if the implants are wanting a diversified product offering in order to make their business more profitable, to be more automated, to be more consistent with color and print output, then it makes perfect sense. It's the logical next step to be able to offer what the customers are looking for. So,
yeah, allows them to go top to bottom, like you were saying. Whatever they need, they have a solution for them or a service available for them.
Yeah, there's a industry fellow that I know who's up the northern border up in Canada, who talks about if you want to be competitive these days, you need to be a Swiss Army knife. And so I'm seeing more and more of the dealers are taking that approach.
All right. So our second kind of opportunity question is, where are we seeing growth in digital production print? And Herman, why don't we start with you this time?
Digital growth in production print, you see it on inkjet, as we've been talking about. Obviously, the uptime, reliability, simplicity of inkjet, customers really like it. You see growth on the larger production because of the shift from offset to digital. They are a little bit easier, and because what Tim said, that the operators, offset operators, and that type of thing, Now, it's still not to the levels that we want to see that growth. We expecting more. You start to see growth on even roll fed, inkjet, bigger presses, that they shifting more volumes. It's just a lot of consolidation, to be honest with you. If you think to larger production, so the growth are on the larger production. If you think that more print buyers buy online, what happens when you buy online? You are gonna bump into the bigger online printers like Vista Prints, etc. So those volumes might shift from a small, kind of like retail copy centers, quick printers to there. There's a lot going on outsourcing, where now the companies like Four Overs that they sell to the trade, they sell very inexpensively because of economy of scales, and some PSPs actually said it's cheaper for me to buy from these guys than actually producing myself. Depending on who that PSP is, if it's a high risk or whatever, they might outsource more. So everything, whoever can consolidate to lower TCO so they can compete against online printers will do that too. So it's all print volume consolidation. So to your question, the larger production seems to be doing better, and most importantly, do even better in the future. Now they say a kind of like a space in the middle of printers that probably cost between $100,000 and $150,000 capital investment. Just to throw a number, those Ricoh's 9500, so Konica Minolta's 12,000, 14,000, so Canon V1000s, or Irideses, or Rivorias, that type of equipment seems to be doing very well as an exception there in the middle kind of thing. Because think about it, not everybody has the print volumes to make the inkjet investment, right? You have to have large print volumes. So there's a space. There are, I don't know, 20,000 at least commercial printers in the US. So there's still a lot of customers that they actually are going to differentiate themselves by selling value against the online printers. They are not going to be the cheapest. Or they are going to be the cheapest by selling value. So what I mean, they are not going to have the lowest price, but they're going to sell value with a smaller equipment. The costs are going to be higher, but they're going to sell specialty printing. They're going to sell customization, QR codes, and augmented reality, special papers, special finishing. That type of market for that too is not all about inkjet and selling volumes at a low price, but then thank God there is a space for value, because if there wasn't that space for value, I think that print will suffer even more. So thank God to a lot of PSPs that they need to sell value because they cannot compete on price, and because of that, it makes print more powerful and valuable. So this is what we see: a lot of print volume consolidation to the high end, but it's still a niche for mid-size, small-size guys to do the specialty printing there in the middle.
And are you finding any specific vertical markets are kind of hot for that?
Well, it's all through the implants, right? Nobody buys production to put it on an office floor unless they just playing around, I don't know, with something. But for the most part, it's the implants, and the implants or CRDs. They are the shop, the print shop for that enterprise. And so the biggest ones that we see obviously is financial, education, government, healthcare, and the biggest trend, and I think that Matthew touched on that, is the wide format. And when we ask, wide format, and they say, well, we focus on products that save the most money to our enterprise. And it's much more expensive to outsource wide format than to outsource these business cards and flyers. So it seems like the wide format is getting momentum because of that. It's cheaper to produce it in-house, where the other type of commercial print, more like flyers and business cards or whatever, they have an opportunity to outsource very, very inexpensively to again, places like Four Overs. So this is what we see in that area too.
Okay. And Tim, what about you from a growth area?
Yeah, so similarly, right? When we do our forecasts and projections, we look at the certain applications that are driving volume across technologies, but technology is certainly important part of it. But the applications that are driving volume at the highest or the fastest growth rates now are direct mail and marketing materials. Those are your biggest growth drivers, the biggest applications and biggest growth drivers. Increasingly, it's books and photo books, where some short run production is happening in those categories. When we really like drill down into where some of these high speed presses are going, we look at things like in who, what segments those companies serve. I find, it's a kind of been a common thread in the past, say, couple of months that we're seeing organizations or print companies that serve higher education and healthcare are big. They seem to be coming up more and more. And, things like, what in higher education, it's for like student recruitment, alumni communications, and course materials. Maybe that's just like the time of year because, for whatever, signing up your new students and fundraising and so forth. It's kind of ongoing communications need there. And then, the other thing I was going to say, and again, it syncs with what Armand just said, is, those kind of applications, they sort of have a demand for, the sixth and extra colors and other value-added production capabilities, right? So, whether it's, as I said before, inline finishing or the ability to print on a wider range of media, often lighter weight stocks, even heavier, or, conversely, heavier weight stocks. All of those things are, enabled by, this generation, I'll call it, of production digital equipment, whether it's toner or inkjet. It's all of them are improving to the point where handling the wide variety of materials is they've all gotten so much better at it than it used to be.
All right, very good. Thank you for sharing that. And Matthew, what's your thoughts on the growth areas for digital production print?
Well, I'm again going to dovetail on what the other two gents have already said. They want to be across the board. Verticalized businesses want to be more nimble, be able to do short run, high quality, but also less generalized output in favor of a greater focus on personalization, variable data, and that sort of thing. Healthcare, as they already said, education, as they already said, but also hospitality has really started to make a big jump into the world of production print, being able to bring things in-house that are specifically personalized. And then we're also starting to see some outside the box trending. And I always, as an analyst and a nerd, I always like when people think outside the box. Faith-based organizations, as well as funerary services, all of those are starting to dive into production print space, whether it's signage or just high quality, higher volume color output with personalization.
All right. No, that's definitely, I've seen that in the past, especially after we've gone through COVID as well. And come back out of it, it's getting together and people wanting to, have paper, have, signage and things like that. And yeah, I can tell you, the digital, my healthcare providers definitely on the production print bandwagon with printing my personalized bill as well as QR codes and all that good stuff, all added on top. So it's alive and well in healthcare.
and it just makes you feel great, doesn't it, Eric? That request for money that they're sending you looks so pretty and it has your name on it.
It's definitely pretty. It has some colors on there, and especially the Mountain Dew at Big Red there. So it's trying to get your attention that you need the soft blue with hello and the red with some money. So it's all good. Making it easy to pay the bill. So it's all good. So all right. Well, thanks. So our last our challenge question we have here is like, what's the biggest challenges in selling digital production print for our dealers and friends out there? Tim, you want to start us off with that one?
Sure. Happy to. I mean, I think there's a couple of things. What I see as the most common hurdles are things like, there is a resident channel, right? There are graphic arts equipment dealers that have and have been serving the market for a while. And so for someone to say, oh, well, where are we going to go, or how are we going to, it means you have to sort of change the cycle of past behavior for customers. So if they're already in the commercial printing business, if they're already in the production printing business, they already kind of have a source, right? So how do you, how do you get them to make that, to change that sort of past behavior? And, the key thing, right, is to kind of, what's the word? So illustrate your expertise, right? Show them like, hey, we've got a great relationship with our vendor partners here. We can show you that they have this new solution and how it's the answer to a problem that you might have. And we know all about it. We've got a great partner here, and we can really, we can provide a real value as opposed to just, hey, here's another solution, another thing you can be buying from us, right? So I think the biggest thing is sort of changing people's past behavior.
All right. Yeah, and with the committee, we've just had, it's been great because we've had experts from different OEMs come with different technologies and different ideas, and it's great to be able to, kind of lean in on these technology providers so you can make the best decision as everybody's trying to be more competitive and get more pages and more services. So.
Sure, I could see that. And also the idea, I think, of managed print is that you're making data-driven decisions about where things are getting printed and how they're getting printed. And so to be able to just say, hey, we can add this to your other managed print, contracts and those kinds of things. If you can do that, then you're saying, like, hey, there's only, one throat to choke here, as one of my bosses likes to say that, use that term, right? So there, there's only one, you become that sort of one stop, or that, like I said, that one throat to choke, or, ultimately, the best partner, or having the most data. And that usually leads to best decisions, right?
Yeah, very good. That's right. And Herman, what about you? What do you see about the biggest challenges for equipment?
Yeah. A little bit like Tim, but I'll make it a little louder only because I'm a Spaniard and the Spaniards are very loud too. I'm very passionate because we Latinos and that type of thing. For me, it's just brand perception. Now, you carry a name that implies something, and you've been in the market selling office equipment or IT support or whatever, and now you go to these graphic cards, you go to this commercial printer or book printer, and it's just perception is everything. Sometimes you can have the best product from these great manufacturers, and in a way you better have the right people that talk the language of graphic arts, and the customer feels that I'm talking the same language. But sometimes the perception, and this is nothing new, right? I remember many years ago when the big perception of Xerox as a copier brand, right? And when we went to Xerox, I started with Xerox. We all got trained on graphic arts. We need to learn everything about offset and everything else. And they created a graphic communication division. I mean, it's all about perception. You can do very well, but the perception from the customer is like, I don't feel comfortable. And remember, when you're selling a piece of equipment that is high production, and sometimes it costs a lot of money, and it's a relationship and a partnership for many years, because service and supplies for at least amortization of that equipment, they need to feel comfortable. And to me, that will be by far the biggest challenge. You can invest on everything else, the people, and you need to invest on everything else. And that's for me the biggest challenge. The second one is that we all do it. Assume that you know things that you don't know. That's a big challenge. That because you come from print, you think that you know print, because office, it'll be similar, and it's completely different. So assuming that you know things that you don't know is also very risky, and I think that happens to all of us sometimes, that type of thing. So those are the two biggest things for me.
All right, very good. And Matthew?
Yeah, I won't be as loud as Herman because I'm not a Spaniard.
You can never be. Impossible.
So I'm going to first off reiterate everything that they just said, that they need subject matter experts for production. They need more diversified offerings to stay relevant. Brand excellence plays a big role in that. But I'm just going to tie it all together with a big red bow and say it all costs money. And so probably one of the biggest challenges that they're going to face is justifying the higher costs of this kind of equipment. And so training those dealer representatives on how to sell that to the clients, how to talk, not just the production talk, but to be able to help them see the need for it and the justification of that expense. And, that's a little bit of a plug for what ProPrint Performance offers through KPI.
Marketing slogan.
May as well take the opportunity. You're welcome. I'm a mercenary.
Your company's gonna love you, Matthew.
Don't forget to tell our boss that, Herman. Okay. But that, in all seriousness, though, that's the driving challenge for all business today is cost. So,
yep. Oh, very good. No, I think it's.
I will just add. Can I just add? We do see a lot of vendors like either hosting or sponsoring events where they kind of help dealers get familiar with kind of their specific talking points and value propositions around production. I know in some cases there's like reward systems that are based on expanding their typical portfolio. So, selling some of our industrial solutions beyond just the office. And there's some pretty rich like dealer support programs that vendors are offering so they can, sell those products, the production print products with more confidence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess one of the last live stream events we did for production print was around, some of the different, actually it was two of the big events with Drupa and Printing United. And I know that there's been some more activities going on. Are there other specific upcoming events that are coming up for I guess we're still at the beginning of the year, but are there, I know that you guys have been busy with events already so far this year.
Oh man, multiple trade.
In Europe there was a big event called Hunkler Innovation Days. That's a big one related to the production print business. I don't really think it's a dealer kind of event. Herman, you've probably been a lot more than ever I've been, but that's a big platform for production, new innovations around the production printing business. I'm not aware of anything else you mentioned Drupa, but there's typically a lot of vendor driven events, but like Printing United is the biggest one.
Yeah, Printing United, yeah, that will be my thing too. Hunkler now and Printing United, and I agree with Tim. Hunkler is very big. It's a lot of finishing and roll fed equipment and that type of thing. Even though now a little bit more cut sheet, but yeah, definitely Printing United, yeah.
And also we're seeing, talking to certain verticals, we're seeing trade associations starting to embrace production print at their events regionally and locally, at least down here in the South.
Okay, no, that's good. No, it's just getting people closer to people with information and seeing equipment, and sometimes dragging a customer along as well to help close the sale, so that all these are opportunities that make it easier for a managed print provider to kind of get their feet wet and to again get some of that extra help they need sometimes when to close the sale.
Well, everyone, I don't know if everyone would say everyone, but a lot of vendors have, they've invested a ton of money into their demo facilities. Most of them have them in North America and in Europe and in Asia Pacific region. So, if you're even a prospect, if you're somebody who thinks they want to know more about it, and you express that to the Canons, Ricos, Konica of the world, that you want to know more about it, I'm sure they'd love to host you at their facilities, and they can show you all about what, anything you might want to know about, some of these production solutions.
Very good. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up. So we have this has been good. We're already 45 minutes, and this has been a good discussion. I really appreciate you guys digging in and helping us out here. And what we wanted to do here at the end is just kind of give your final thoughts as we leave. So if each one of you, Matthew, if we can just start with you, and we'll go around, just final thoughts after maybe a new idea sprung in your mind over the last 45 minutes, or just maybe a point you want to double down on. If you don't mind to do that and share.
Well, I think I've beat all the dead horses that I had under my belt for the day. I would just my biggest takeaway from this is Tim and Germán's experience and their insights. Give me some new ideas for when I'm engaging with the dealers that I'm supporting going forward. And so for that, that's kind of my biggest takeaway.
All right. Yeah. So definitely rewatch this if you missed it. Yeah, definitely you want to rewatch it, and then it's all if you need to read it, it's all going to be there in closed caption as well. And Tim, what's your closing thoughts?
Yes. So thanks, Eric. Again, it was a pleasure to be part of the panel here. And, I always say one of the best things about working in this industry is like you get to talk to people who run the shops, people who run these businesses. It always impresses me like how resourceful and opportunistic people are. And so, all the stakeholders in the market can be that way or should be that way. And so in all these segments of the market, whether it's commercial or wide format, we see there's kind of a blurring of the lines. And so, lots of commercial printers sell wide format, lots of wide format shops sell t-shirts. But really the takeaway is, as long as you're like a trusted partner, you'll be in a good spot and you'll be able to take new products and services to your customers. So, that's really the key thing is to be that reliable, trusted partner. And, if those companies that earn that reputation, those are the ones that are going to be successful. And when they try to take new things to market.
That's right. That's good. All right. And Germán, you're last up, loudest and the last.
Last time lucky. Yeah. For me, what hits my brain is this is something that if you do it, you got to go 100%. If you are going to go into production, you got to go 100%. You cannot go halfway. We have a saying in Spanish that you either pregnant or you are not pregnant, but you cannot be half pregnant. And this is one of those things. You got to go 100%. You had to have the right people with the right name that implies the right trust. The people that speak the right language, that understands who they're talking to and that business of production and commercial print and whatever, even farther their customers, print buyers. I mean, you got to go. And then it's okay if you sell a specific area within the production, but whatever you do, you got to go 100%. If you go halfway, I don't think that is going to work. So that will be my last thought.
Well, again, we appreciate everybody being here, whether you're live or recorded. We have our production print committee where we're doubling down. We're going all in, as Germán's saying, on production print as a main topic for the Managed Print Services Association. So if you want to take an active role in that, definitely reach out to myself, and Mitchell Philby is kind of leading the charge from the Managed Print Services Association, but we can get you connected and tied in as we are looking at what are the best practices that we need to be sharing, and again, just to help each other avoid pitfalls and to get to success faster, right? So so we're excited that this panel is here available to share what they have. And again, we have other members that are actively participating that you can rub shoulders with and share ideas as we go forward. So with that, I just want to say to all of you, have a great day. I appreciate your time. Thank you to Tim and Germán and Matthew for joining us today. And if you want to get connected to them, they're all on LinkedIn, I promise. You can get connected with them, and we'd love to have you as a member of the Managed Print Services Association. So have a good rest of your day wherever you are, whenever you're watching this, and we'll see you at our next live stream event soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.